Okay, everybody, we are here at the Quadrant Book Mart and Coffee House over here in the beautiful section of Easton around the circle. And looking outside, it's kind of a typical spring day, touch and go in the weather, but thankfully we are inside doing this so we don't get caught in a downpour. We are here with Marlana, who is an artist. You just showed me the basically like a dry run of a publication that you're starting up.
Yeah, that's kind of my project right now. One of my projects, I guess, just one of my projects. But so this is the real physical print copy of the Vanguard, and the theme is subversive art, subversive writing, and it's founded here in Easton.
Okay, now subversive? That's one of those more obscure terms. Can you give a few more details?
Yeah, subversive is underground, things that people don't typically like to talk about.
Okay.
And that's why the tagline is opinionated, progressive, thought-provoking. It's things that people don't like to think about.
Okay. So basically, it's definitely not mainstream.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I think there needs to be more building of intellectual culture in the area. So even if people don't like what they're reading, I always would encourage them to write a response, and I'll publish it.
Okay, so you're pretty much you encourage the reader interaction then.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Okay, now how did you get started as an artist in like this latest creation? Let's get into the backstory here. How did you get started as an artist, as a writer, and come up with all these great ideas that you have?
Well, I think that creativity is the precursor to abundance. So I try, sometimes what I do might not be like super great, but for me, just the expression of it fulfills a deep need. And even if it's just for me, I think that's what we're meant to do, is make stuff, is create things that get out what's inside.
Okay. Now, how did everything, like your creativity, like how long have you been doing this? Like, what was like your first, that you can remember, like what was your first project, even as a kid, that you could remember? I mean, some people would say, okay, they started drawing as a kid, or they discovered in school, or, how did you start with, being an artist and creativity?
How did I start? I don't know. I don't know what my first project was. I just always liked, composition, color. I liked to make people think. I've always gravitated towards other people who like to do the same thing. So I think, moving forward, it was just natural that I continued to do this.
Okay, so basically you started off as a kid as an artist.
Yeah, I guess. I have this wild picture I created when I was in like 3rd grade, and it says, it's just a drawing with different similar colors, and it says analogous colors stand side by side, which is really, I think, strange for somebody in 3rd grade to make. I don't remember making it, but so I've always been interested.
Actually, for a 3rd grader to use the word analogous alone is...
I looked at it and I thought, I must have asked someone how to say this, because there's no way I could have known that word.
Yeah, I could just picture the look on the teacher's face, just, I can't, I don't know what the picture looks like, but just seeing that word alone, it's like, huh? So moving forward from there, did you actually did you realize you have a natural talent, at some point for art, or, and I mean art in general, not just specific areas?
Yeah, I think ever everyone has a natural talent for art, and I think that's where certain people differ. Is that some people want to have some kind of a monopoly on being an artist,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel that way. I think everyone's talented in their own way, and I think the people that try to suppress that have kind of an insecurity about where they stand as a person
Okay.
and as an artist. So I try not to be like that, and I try to just kind of express that I feel like everyone is innately artistic, whether they want to realize it or not.
Yeah, because I mean, some people are, they hate to use cliches, but left brain, right brain. You have some people that whose strong points are okay. They're great with numbers. They're great with the logic side, and other people are stronger with the creativity. Like with myself, it's like okay, you get me past algebra 1, forget it, I'm toast.
Mm-hmm.
But you take me into a 3D graphics design program. Give me a 3D sphere, and it's amazing what I could do with it. Just don't ask me the numbers on it.
Right.
So it's that's what I said. Do you think it? Did you realize that you were naturally the creativity was stronger in you versus? I mean, everybody has a combination of two. It's just one side's usually stronger.
Yeah. I mean, the way that we're all brought up, that's a very mainstream way to think of it, because from a young age we're disciplined in certain things. That's why they're called disciplines. But I think people aren't shown like other sides of themselves. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going with this, but people are told from an early age, like, okay, you're either a math or science person, or like a reading writing person, or like you're either like a sports person or you're not.
Yeah, you're a sports person, or you're like a dancer or something. Basically, it's kind of opposites.
It's just like this pattern of binary thinking, like the black and white thinking that we're all used to. But in reality, like, everyone has so many different facets of themselves. They have so many different life experiences that shape them, that nobody is like, okay, I'm just really good at this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was this book that I read a while back, and it was by the creators of Keller Williams Real Estate, and it's called The One Thing, and it encourages people to just focus on one thing they're really good at. And the basis is like, to gain more capital, just focus on one thing that you're good at. And
Right.
I think that's just so wrong, that people are told that, I think.
I do agree with you on that, because sometimes that one thing you're focused on might not be the thing you are actually the best, for lack of a better term, the best, or you might find something else that you're even better at if you keep if you keep trying new things and taking new chances.
Right, yeah, I totally agree. And, getting back to capital is one of the reasons why people don't try things. Like, why people just chase after like whatever's going to make them the most money, and that's why people focus on just the one thing. So it really has nothing to do with people not being like talented at a bunch of different things. It has to do with where's the money.
Right.
So and from an early age in school, that's where we're conditioned to go.
Right, be a doctor, be a lawyer, or whatever, real estate, etc. Now, as far as schooling goes, what was your actual education in art and other areas that you've done or that you're currently doing? It's basically going back from being a kid through high school and college. What kind of educational background did you, and especially what do you think were the types of education that really helped you along?
Well, in the the earlier stages, I always lean more towards the arts. So theater, art classes. I did the Lafayette art experience with Jim Toya. That was really fun. And I actually met lifelong friends doing that. And that's the thing too, is like I always really enjoyed spending time with people who were in the arts communities. And I think that's why I stayed interested in exploring that part of myself. Otherwise, people who don't have that influence, they get into that routine where they're just like, they go to their job. They
Spend most of my life doing that, yep.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I did go to college. I went to college for English. And then I got a master's degree to teach English as a second language because I like working with international students. And right now I'm taking classes at Kutztown to get a master's in English. So.
Okay.
So to answer your question about classical art training, I had one painting lesson ever. So I just like design. I like interior design. I like working with colors. I like, I like looking at something or thinking of something and making it happen. And that goes along with the realization of creativity that I was talking about. Like taking something that's inside and letting it out.
Okay. We're going to take a break quick, and just because I love people, I love to leave people hang on. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll get into part 2 and have a few more surprise questions for you.